All right, welcome everybody to the unofficial draw ceremony. They don't do one, unfortunately, but that's why we're here. We're here to talk about it. We're here to discuss everything there is to do with the final tournament of the WTA for the year, the WTA Finals, which is going to be so interesting. I have no idea who's going to win this event. And even going through my notes and going through all of like the head-to-head and stuff, I mean, there's definitely players that want to avoid certain players, but even then, there's a lot of players that probably don't really care who they play because they've either beaten them both this year or they've beaten two of the players or three of the players they've, it's just, it's so even. The only player I think that has a disadvantage is because of lack of matches is Madison Keys. She's the only one coming in here that we don't have any matches to watch or anything. We haven't got any information on her because she hasn't played for a while and she had an injury. But that's what makes her so scary because she could come in and serve well and hit that forehand and she could roll heads, So this is going to be very interesting. I don't know how much the groups are going to matter. They definitely matter. There are some matches that are definitely going to make a difference. If certain players get certain players, that's an advantage. But other than that, I mean, we'll go through that in a second. But yeah, it's crazy to think as well because I'm looking here. Sabalenka has played everybody in this WTA Finals once this year. Swiatek has played everybody in the WTA Finals at least once this year. Gauff has played everybody except for Raducanu this year in this lineup. She's played everybody except for Raducanu. She hasn't played Raducanu for a while. Anisimova has played everybody except for Raducanu and Keys because she hasn't played them ever. First time she's going to play one of them, potentially. Or both of them, actually. She could get both of them. She's played everybody else, though. Pegula. She has played everybody except for Paolini and Raducanu this year. But against Paolini and Raducanu, especially Raducanu, she got tricky, it's a tricky head-to-head. Raducanu, she's played everybody this year except for Pegula, Anisimova, and Gauff. So she hasn't played and that's because at the end of the year, she's played a lot more of those players. At the start of the year, she wasn't playing as well. Keys, she's played everybody except for Anisimova and Paolini this year. So she's played Pegula, Raducanu, Swiatek, and Sabalenka obviously as well, and Gauff. And Paolini has played everybody this year except for Pegula and Keys. But she has played them before. So it's going to be so interesting, this draw. Now, it's not live, unfortunately. But we will be doing updates. So when things become available, we will be able to throw them at you and decide what's going on. Now, let me go through this spreadsheet that I have put together. Sometimes I do my homework. So, Sabalenka will not play Swiatek. 1 and 2 don't play. So you can see here next to me, these are the names. These are the seeds, if you want to call them that. So the way it works, it's not odds versus evens. That is a myth. It might turn out to be odds versus evens, but that will be a fluke. And that will be a random occurrence and a coincidence. It's not odds versus evens because just like if it was 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 at a Grand Slam semi-final, players could manipulate the rankings. So, for example, somebody could, on purpose, they could lose to avoid playing someone else. So, to eliminate that, it's random. The only certainty is that 1 and 2 will not play, 3 and 4 will not play in the group stage, 5 and 6 will not play in the group stage, and 7 and 8. So Swiatek goes this way, Sabalenka this way. Gauff and Anisimova on opposite sides, right? Pegula, Raducanu, they won't play in the group stage, and Keys, Paolini will not play in the group stage. So that's the only certainty. That is the only certainty. But they could play in the semis because obviously the number one from one group versus the number 2 from the other group, and vice versa. So that's how that all works. Now, Sabalenka. Let's go through her results. Now, she's got a losing record against Swiatek, but that won't matter for now. Against Coco Gauff, she has a losing record. 5 wins, 6 losses, They played a lot of times. It's a very competitive matchup. Last time they played was actually the French Open, where she lost in that final. Of course, Coco got the win. Anisimova, she also has a losing record against. 4 wins, 6 losses. However, she won their last match. That was at the US Open. So, who would Sabalenka rather play between Gauff and Anisimova? Maybe Anisimova, because she won their last match, but also she does have a losing record against Anisimova, and in the group stage, when there's not much to lose, Anisimova might like her chances. Or maybe she'd want to play Gauff, because Gauff hasn't been playing as well lately. But then again, it probably doesn't matter. If Sabalenka gets Anisimova or Gauff, it's going to be challenging because she hasn't got a good record against either of them. Pegula, she has a very good record against. 8 wins, 3 losses. However, she has lost the last match they played, which was that epic match that Pegula came back and won in Wuhan. And she also has a good record against Rybakina, 8 wins, 5 losses. But the difference being that she won the last time they played. That was also in Wuhan. So she beat Rybakina, but she lost to Pegula. I think she would still rather play Pegula. I think Rybakina, she's had too many close matches. I mean, she's had some bad losses to Rybakina. She had a bad loss to Rybakina this year. Whereas Pegula did beat her last time, but Pegula had to fight from the death to get that win. And that was a long time coming, that win. So I think she'd rather play Pegula in the group stage, Sabalenka, than Rybakina. And then Keys, she's got a 5-2 record against, and also 5-2 against Paolini. Winning both matches the last time they played. She won the match easily against Keys in Indian Wells when it was 11-1. And then she also won in Stuttgart against Paolini, which was the last time they played. Paolini is who she'd rather play Paolini. So I think Sabalenka's group, her ideal group, would be maybe Gauff based on the last couple of months. You know, Anisimova's been playing better than Gauff overall, right, since Wimbledon, or since the French. So maybe Gauff, but then again, like I said, Anisimova or Gauff, I think both have got challenging. She'd rather play Pegula and she'd rather play Paolini. Her worst case would be if she gets Keys and Rybakina. And I know Keys hasn't played much, but I think you'd rather play Keys than... If you're Sabalenka, you'd rather play Paolini over Keys. Swiatek. Her record against Sabalenka is 8 wins, 5 losses. That doesn't matter for now. She does have a winning record against Gauff, 11-4, but she has lost the last few to Gauff. And she lost the last time they played was in Madrid, and she lost that one. So she has a good record against Coco, but it's been different lately. So that's interesting. Against Anisimova, it's 1-1. Last time they played was the US Open, where Anisimova got the win. I don't know who she'd rather play out of those two. I don't think it really matters. I mean, maybe Coco based on the head-to-head, but then again... Lately, it's been Gauff winning that match, including a match here last year. I really don't know. Against Pegula, she has a winning record 6-5, but she lost their last match. That was in Bad on Berg before the Wimbledon event. That was the final there. She lost. And she has a winning record against Rybakina, 6 wins, 4 losses, including a win in Cincinnati this year. So I think she'd rather play maybe Rybakina, because it's kind of like, it's funny, Wim Fizek comes on, and Gauff starts beating Swiatek, but then Rybakina can't beat Swiatek. So that's really interesting how that rivalry is kind of like it's flipped on its head. You know, Gauff has become a lot more competitive against Swiatek lately. Rybakina has not. So I think she'd rather play Rybakina. And then Keys, Swiatek has a 5-2 record against Keys, including a win in Madrid, but she got bageled that match. And she has a 6-1 record against Paolini, but she lost their last match. Again, I think she'd rather play Paolini, though. I think Paolini's game, unfortunately... her and Keys are totally opposite players, and some players match up better against big hitters. And I think Swiatek would rather play, or some players don't match up good against big hitters. And I think she'd rather play someone like Paolini, who she lost the last time they played, but I think she would rather play a defensive player than a Keys if Keys is on. All right, Coco Gauff. Now she does have to play one of these two number 1 or 2s. She has a winning record against Sabalenka, but she hasn't beaten Sabalenka since the clay courts of Roland Garros. She has a losing record against Swiatek, but she's won the last few. I think she may rather play Swiatek Gauff right now. But then again, maybe it doesn't matter because both of them are going to be tough, but both of them she can beat. Which 12 months ago, you know, she hadn't really tested Swiatek at all. So I think she wouldn't. I don't think Gauff's really bothered by who she plays out of those two. Against Anisimova, she won't play until the semis anyway, but she has a one win, 2 loss record against her. That's not great. So if she has to play Anisimova, that could be a challenge. And of course, they less played in Beijing, and Gauff lost that one. Against Pegula, she has a losing record, 3 wins, 4 losses, but she did beat Pegula in the final of Wuhan. And she's only ever played Rybakina once, which is one of the most fascinating match rivalries, or lack of rivalries, that we've ever had. They've only played once, and that was in Canada 3 years ago. How have they not played again? She won that match, but again, Rybakina's on fire. I think Gauff would rather play Rybakina because the style matchup would work, especially if she's coming off playing against Sabalenka. You know, Gauff's defense versus Rybakina's aggression. I reckon maybe Gauff would like playing Rybakina a little. I think it would work better in her favor, unless Rybakina is hitting untouchable shots. But I think Gauff would rather be like her defense probably matches up against Rybakina better than it does with Pegula. But then again, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe both. Maybe Gauff would rather play Pegula. I mean, you can make an argument for that. And then Keys and Paolini, she has a 3-3 record against both, but she did win both the last matches that she's played against these two. But again, I think she'd rather play Keys than Paolini. But then again, maybe it doesn't matter. You know, for Coco, it's probably the least. Like, it doesn't matter who she gets. I think you could say that it's hard or easy no matter who you pick, right? For Gauff. I think Gauff's going to have a challenge with Sabalenka or Swiatek. She's going to have a challenge against Pegula or Rybakina, and same with Keys or Paolini. So I think Gauff's draw doesn't matter that much. It doesn't matter that much. She's probably got she's probably not worried the most. You know, she's probably got the least worry. She's not, fingers crossed I don't have to play so-and-so. 12 months ago, though, she wouldn't want to play Swiatek. We know that, but that's changed. Now, Anisimova, she will not play Gauff. She has a good record against Gauff anyway. She does have a good record against Sabalenka. 6 wins, 4 losses, but she lost their last match. That was at the US Open final. But maybe the pressure of the final was the reason. Just a thought. 1-1 against Swiatek. She won the last match. That was in the quarterfinals of the US Open. She's never played Keys. She's never played Rybakina. She's never beaten Pegula. She lost in Canada to her a couple of years ago. So it's been a while since Pegula and Anisimova have played. Is that right? Canada? When was it? 23, I think it was. Canada 23. Let me double check. I've written 25, but that wasn't right because Pegula didn't make it far in 25. Yeah, 3-0, and it was... Yeah, last year. So 2024, Pegula beat Anisimova in Canada. But yeah, and then she has a winning record, 2-0 over Paolini, including a win in Beijing. So I think she would... Anisimova's best case, I think she'd probably rather play Swiatek. I know, she's got a better record against Sabalenka, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe she'd rather play Swiatek after that last win, because the Wimbledon match, we all know that was not, that was definitely not what Anisimova's best tennis, right? But in a group stage of this WTA Finals, maybe she might like her chance against Swiatek, because if you lose, you don't lose, right? Unless it's a must win, right? She'd rather play probably Rybakina over Pegula based on head-to-head, maybe. And she'd definitely rather play Paolini because she's never played Keys, and you don't want to play Keys who hasn't played for a while and is scary as hell. And she's never lost to Paolini, so she probably would rather play Paolini. Now, Pegula, she's actually got a decent record against a lot of players, but not against the top 2 players. She's lost to Sabalenka and Swiatek more times than not, but she's won their last matches she's played against them. So 3-8 against Sabalenka, 5-6 against Swiatek, but I think she'd rather play Swiatek because she did win last time they played Sabalenka-Pegula, but Pegula, had to fight for that one. So I think she'd rather play Swiatek. Against Gauff and Anisimova, she's 4-3 winning against Gauff, 3-0 winning against Anisimova. She did lose their last match though. I think Pegula might rather play, Anisimova maybe, but then she has a good record against Gauff and she knows Gauff and knows how to play Coco. So, maybe that one doesn't matter too much. She won't play Rybakina. She's 3-1 against Rybakina. Hasn't played for a couple of years, though. Yeah, the draw's coming out soon. Keys, she has a losing record against 1-2, including a loss this year in Adelaide, and she's never lost to Paolini, 5-0. So she'd definitely rather... So Pegula, I think she'd rather play Swiatek, probably Coco, maybe, and Paolini. Now, there's a trend here. Most players would rather play Paolini. And that's not because Paolini's not a good player. It's just that Most of them have a good record against Paolini, and most of those records are before Paolini became top 10. These aren't just like the last 12 months. Most of these are like when Paolini's been playing for a while. So some of these records are a little bit one-sided, out of favor of Paolini, not because Paolini's. Billie Jean. You know what? You know what? The Billie Jean King Cup does not count on the WTA website. I don't know why, but you're right. Pegula did lose their last match, so it's 5-1. But yeah, on the WTA website, it doesn't show the Billie Jean King Cup, so I don't know what's going on with that. They need to fix that. But you're right. Yes, it's Billie Jean King Cup. I think I made this mistake last time we watched Paolini. Anyways, yes. So I still think that she'd rather play Paolini, though. Even though she lost their last match, I think Pegula would still rather play Paolini. Paolini playing for Italy is different. Team events in Paolini, she just goes crazy. Anyways, WTA website need to fix that. Somebody tell them. Call their manager. Anyways, where was I? Raducanu. Raducanu has a bad record against everybody. She doesn't have a winning record against anybody in this WTA Finals. Even though she's playing the best tennis right now, at least some of the best tennis, right? Bad record against Swiatek and Sabalenka, 2-5 against both. Lost both their last matches they played against them as well. Never played Anisimova. Never played yet. Maybe that will change in this one. But she has a losing record against Gauff, as we spoke about. They only played once, which is fascinating. She has a losing record against Pegula, but she won't play her until the finals. And then against Keys and Paolini, she's got a level 3-3 record, but she has won both the matches that played lately against both of those ladies. So Raducanu, I don't know. I mean, she'd probably rather play Sabalenka than Swiatek right now, because Swiatek has got the formula against Raducanu somehow. And even though I think Sabalenka is fearing Raducanu, I think Raducanu would want to play Sabalenka. She probably wants to play Gauff over Anisimova. Maybe, I don't know. Anisimova just seems scary right now. I don't think anyone wants to play her. Maybe Pegula, but maybe, I don't know. And then she'd probably rather play Paolini than Keys, because again, Keys, if she's on, is going to be really scary. And at least with Paolini, Raducanu just beat her pretty convincingly a couple weeks ago. And then for the final couple of players, Keys. She won't play Paolini, but they've only ever played twice, and it's 1-1. So if they have to play, it's level anyway. Swiatek, Keys has a losing record against Swiatek and a losing record against Sabalenka. Sorry, Raducanu has 5-8 and 4-6 against Swiatek and Sabalenka. Keys is 2-5 against both of them. 3-3 against Gauff is Keys. Lost their last match. That was at Roland Garros, and she's never played Anisimova. She has a winning record against Pegula, including a win this year in Adelaide. She has a level record against Raducanu, including a loss this year in Cincy. So for Keys is the wild card in this event, I think. She is the wild card because she came in, she hasn't played any matches for a long time. She did come in with the Grand Slam rule. If she hadn't have made the top 8, she would have qualified anyway, but she did. But she hasn't played. And Keys is so scary. I mean, look what happened in Australia. She beat like 3 of these players to win the title. And nobody expected her to beat Raducanu, then Swiatek, then Sabalenka to win the whole thing. And we know how crazy Keys can get. If she's playing well, how good she is. But is she injured? Like, I don't. How injured is she? How rusty is she? I don't know. She's the scariest player in this whole thing, I think. Because she's unpredictable, right? She could be, she could go 0-3, but she could also go 2-1 and make the semis. So I'm not, Keys is the wild card for me. I think her best, she'd probably want to play Swiatek over Sabalenka, probably, because she did bagel Swiatek on clay. I mean, that's confidence. She probably wants to play Gauff maybe over Anisimova, but then again, I feel like Gauff, with the firepower that Keys brings, Gauff can challenge that. So maybe she'd rather play Anisimova and go power for power. Maybe. She'd rather play Pegula over Raducanu, I think, just because, again, maybe, I don't know. Maybe she wouldn't. Maybe she'd want to go power for power. Maybe she wants to go Sabalenka, Anisimova. I mean, tell you this. Keys, Raducanu, Sabalenka, Anisimova, if that's one of the groups, that's like power players and then the defensive-minded players with Gauff, Paolini, Pegula, and Swiatek. I mean, hopefully we don't get that because I want to I'd rather have like 2 and 2 where we get like 2 offensive and 2 defensive and have more But I mean, what if we get like the big hitters and then the more defensive types in the other side? That'd be kind of wild. And then Palini, who definitely, I mean, look, the head-to-head with Palini and everybody else is pretty skewed just because she played them a lot when she wasn't in the top 10. So she has a losing record against a lot of players, but it's not her. It's not because she's not been good lately. Losing record against Swiatek, 1-6, but she beat her in Wuhan, and 2-5 against Sabalenka, but she lost in Stuttgart a couple in the clay season. 3-3 against Gauff, but she did lose in Wuhan to her. 0-2 against Anisimova, lost in Beijing in the last time they played. Pegula, she hasn't played for a couple years. She beat her the Billie Jean King Cup, but is 1-5. 3-3 against Raducanu, lost in Ningbo, probably doesn't want to play her. And then she won't play Keys until the semis, but she did play Keys at Wimbledon last year, and is 1-all. So I think Pegula, Palini, she'd probably rather play Sabalenka, at least with defense, and then maybe she can create errors from Sabalenka. She'd probably rather play Gauff than Anisimova because she's beaten Gauff before, and she'd probably rather play maybe play Pegula instead of, even though her record's worse against Pegula than Raducanu. She just got smoked by Raducanu. I don't think she wants to play her again so quickly. Hopefully you all took notes. Otherwise, I'll read them out again. Now, the draw is supposed to be coming out now, but they're not streaming it, so we have no idea. We're flying blind. The WTA Finals will not have Eala. She's not this year anyway. Maybe next year. Sinner's playing tomorrow during the day. Sweet. Means I can... I don't have to stay up all night tomorrow. That's great. I know Fonseca playing Hashanov. Fonzie might not play, though. He was injured in the Chapeau win. All right, so Sinner playing Bergs in the afternoon. Good. A little bit nicer times than time zones. So yeah, so they're not streaming the draw, unfortunately, but that's what we're here for. So there you go. Hopefully, if I've missed anything or if you missed anything, let me know. If you want me to repeat anything, if you're like, hey Cam, what's this head to head? I will tell you. I have all of the data. Who can master their craft and be the best representative? Yes. I understand your point about Keys. I like Keys a lot, but Keys hasn't played a competitive match since the US Open. But I'll tell you this. Raducanu, last year, hadn't played a match since the US Open. She came in and she beat Sabalenka. So just because Keys hasn't played doesn't mean she's not dangerous. There's players that would come in and you'd go, you know what? They need matches. But Keys is someone who could come in and just win. She could come in and just go, hey, I'm going to beat Sabalenka Swiatek again like I did in Australia and go to the semis. She is very scary, Keys. Very scary. Nobody wants to play Keys. Because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. You could get errors and double faults and she could be rusty. Or you could get Keys who won the Australian Open. And that is so scary. Nobody wants to play Madison Keys. And unless she plays that first match and loses, and you go, oh, she didn't look great. But if she plays that first match and wins, and she looks amazing, watch out. That's the scary part. That's the scary thing. No one wants to play Anisimova either. The only difference, though, yes, but the only difference is that with Anisimova, at least everybody knows what they're going to get. So everyone's going to prepare for Anisimova the same way. Because they know, hey, she's playing well. We saw what she did over there. And most of the players have played her this year and lost to her, so they can at least adjust. Some of the players against Keys, we don't know what Keys, nobody knows what Keys is going to do, right? If Keys' forehand's working, how can you prepare for Keys? You could go in thinking, oh, she's going to be rusty, and then she could beat you. Or do you go in thinking she's going to be playing like Australia? That's how you should think, right? You should go in thinking that she's going to be like the Grand Slam champion she is. And if she's not, then okay, lucky you. But when Keys plays like that, we saw what she can do. She can beat everybody. So how do you prepare for somebody who like that if she plays like that? So, yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Keys. But with Anisimova, everybody kind of knows she's playing well. She's very dangerous. But also Sabalenka and Swiatek, for example, can adjust to her because they played her. Also Gauff as well. Because she's beaten them. So Anisimova's beaten Sabalenka this year. She's beaten Swiatek and beaten Coco. But the problem with that, it's kind of like with Sinner beating Alcaraz at the Six King Slam. Now Alcaraz can go back to the drawing board and figure it out and go, okay, well, how did you beat me so easily when I hadn't lost to you for a while? They're all doing that to Anisimova because I think everybody knows in this draw that Anisimova is the one to watch, right? Even though Keys is the wild card and we don't know what to expect, I think Anisimova is the one that everybody's kind of keeping an eye on because they know, okay, she's playing well, she's beaten all of us, you know. So I think everybody's probably studied Anisimova a lot more, you know, coming into this. And will be more prepared. Whereas Keys, I don't think anyone's even thinking. We thought Keys wasn't going to play because she hadn't played. We thought, I was thinking that she was going to retire, and she was not going to be a part of it. But here she is. Amanda has had dominant wins over Raducanu and Pegula. Exactly. So everybody knows what to expect. I'd much rather play Anisimova and know what to expect and had played her recently than go up against Keys blind, right? Again, Keys could go 0-3 and she could look rusty and play terrible. But again, you want to take that risk? I think Anisimova, at least you know what's coming from her, right? You've seen it. Most of them have played her. I think she's played everybody everyone except for Pegula this year, and except for the players that she hasn't played Keys or Raducanu before, but. I mean, for Sabalenka and Swiatek, they'd probably rather play... And it's not between Anisimova and Keys. They could play both of them, right? But I think anyone who gets Keys and Anisimova in the same draw that's going to be tough. That's going to be rough. What is the qualification for the WTA Finals? You have to finish in the top 8 by the end of the season, and that has been done and dusted. That was done on Monday. That was over yesterday. Now, they're not showing the draw anywhere, so we're just, here. Here we are. Sabalenka, Anisimova, Keys, Palini. That could be fun. I tell you the match, look, every match on, no matter, you could name 2 players and I'll say that's going to be a great match. I'm excited for every match. I don't think we're going to have, hopefully we won't have too many one-sided matches. If the season's been anything to go by, it's been pretty competitive for everybody. I want to see Gauff versus Raducanu. That's the one that I want to see because we haven't seen it recently, and I don't know how they keep avoiding each other and how they keep missing each other, but I want to see that match so bad in the group stage because then we're guaranteed to see it unless somebody gets injured. We have to see Gauff for Raducanu. The tennis gods are going to put them in different parts in different groups because that's just the cruelty of tennis, but I want to see Gauff versus Raducanu. After 3 years, they've only ever played once in their life. Come on. We need that match to know what the hell is that. What is that? It's like the rivalry that never happened. Yet they've been around forever. At least been up in the top 10 forever the last couple of years. So I definitely want to see that match in the group stage. Guarantee that match, please. And I want to see Gauff Swiatek. They haven't played they haven't played since Madrid. So I want to see if Gauff can keep it winning, keep winning against Swiatek, or if Swiatek can turn that around. So that would mean what? That means I need the group to be Raducanu, Gauff, Swiatek, and then maybe throw in Keys just for good measure. Oh no, you know what? Put Palini in there. I think that's a better group for Palini anyway. With Raducanu, Palini have played some epics. Pegula, I know Swiatek hasn't done well. Has beaten Palini more. Yeah, well, that's not bad. That's not a bad matchup. I want to see Anisimova Raducanu. Well, I think either way, we're going to get one of those matches, right? So it's a win. We're kind of a win-win. But again, I want to see Gauff Raducanu because we've not seen it. We've seen it one time, and it was in Canada when nobody was paying attention because I don't know why. We probably just assumed they were going to play more times. We're going, oh yeah, we'll watch it when they play in a slam. Never. They never do. It's like Runa versus Sinner or Alcaraz. It's like, they play. I mean, they've played a few times more, but every time we think we're going to get it, it just doesn't happen. Yeah, so the alternates are Andreeva and Alexandrova. So if somebody pulls out, Andreeva will jump in, and then if somebody else pulls out, Alexandrova will jump in. Now, Andreeva is in Riyadh because she's playing doubles. So she's already playing doubles. And you get paid for being an alternate. So even if you don't make the top 8, you still get a paycheck. So Alexandrova and Andreeva are going to be there and get paid even if they don't play. But she is playing the doubles, though. So Andreeva is going to be there anyway because she has to play doubles with Schneider. Also, Paolini's playing doubles too. Did not see Anisimova making it here at the beginning of the year. So exciting. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think out of all the players, she's the one at the start of the year you wouldn't have thought. I think we probably expected more from Zhang, but she got injured. I think some of us probably thought Andreeva maybe as well would get in before, like at the start of the year. But yeah, Anisimova was probably the starting at the from the start of the year. Anisimova, if you had Anisimova in your top 8 at the start of the year, you're doing all right. Because I didn't. I didn't have her in there. And Nisimova's never faced Raducanu, really exciting. Yeah, that's fun. Very fun. By the way, send me things if you see them before I see them. Please send me your info if you find... Well, not your info. If you send me information... No, don't send me your info. Send me information on Twitter if you do see anything come up, if there's any groups or any announcements or anything. Again, like I said, it's 1 and 2 will be separated. Now, it's not odds versus evens, so otherwise we wouldn't be doing a draw ceremony. We'd already know who's playing. But it's Sabalenka, Swiatek get split. Gauff and Anisimova get split. Pegula and Raducanu get split. And Keys Paolini. So that means 1 and 2 can't play in the group stage. 3 and 4 can't play each other in the group stage. 5 and 6 cannot play each other in the group stage. 7 and 8 will not play each other in the group stage. It could be 1, 3, 6, 7. It could be 2, 4, 6, 8. It could be odds versus evens. I mean, we just don't. It's just, that's what this draw is about. All we know is that Swiatek and Sabalenka won't play until the semis. Now, how do they do the semis? So the best 2 players from each group will make the semis. Whoever finishes top of one group will play the second place of the other. So let's say it's, Sabalenka finishes 1 and Gauff finishes 2. Then Swiatek finishes 1 on the other side. Then it'll be Gauff versus Swiatek in the semis. Let's say Anisimova finishes 2nd in the Swiatek draw or whatever group. Then it would be Sabalenka versus Anisimova. But again, it just depends on who does well. And sometimes, and with this draw, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, they might not make the semis. I mean, that could happen. WTA on Insta said they're doing the draw. Okay, good. Good. I wish they were streaming, but hey, it's fine. It's fine. By the way, we do have Alcaraz coming up in a couple of hours. So even though they're working on the draw now, nice. Nice one. Ooh, pardon me. It's going to be a late night tonight. All right. All right, here we go. I don't know if who they got there. Somebody's playing a musical instrument there. Looks fun. Who do I think will win? I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even know who the favorite is. Is it Anisimova? No, it can't be. It must be Sabalenka or Gauff or Like, I feel like anybody could win this. I don't think. And the reason why I'm not saying that Keys can't win it, because a lot of people probably say, well, Keys hasn't played. She's not going to win it. That's why she would win it. Because she hasn't played. So I don't know who the favorite is, but yeah. Have you heard anything to suggest Keys might bail? No, I've heard that she's feeling good. Apparently she's all good. She's healthy and ready to go. So that's good. Querrey and Johnson picked Anisimova to win. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. She's played well. She can beat everybody. She's American. So, I mean, you can pick a lot of Americans. There's a lot of Americans in this draw. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, Coco, she could go back to back maybe. I mean, I wouldn't. I think when the draw does come out, I'll probably have a better answer, because at least then I'll know, at least head to head. But by the way, Medvedev smoked Munar, which was surprisingly awesome by him. I wasn't expecting to be one-sided. Rebecca beats Anisimova, but she still plays great. Okay. Anyone have a legit shot to win this? Yeah. I mean, Paolini is probably the least likely, along with Keys, because Keys hasn't played, and Paolini is the lowest seed and hasn't got a good record against anybody. Has either level or a losing record. So maybe Paolini is the least likely to win, but she can still get a couple wins. Like, Paolini could still make the semis, with a couple wins, and then if she gets a good matchup in the semis, maybe she does take it. But and Paolini's been playing really well lately. I mean, that win over Swiatek in Wuhan, I think definitely, if she had lost that match, then you would think, it's going to be real tough for Paolini to win. But beating Swiatek has got to give her a lot of confidence, and also, kind of maybe change the perspective a little bit. Imagine Paolini winning. Well, the number 8 seed wins this before. I mean, I think Svitolina won this as the number 8 seed. Was not likely to win that back in like 2018, I think, or 2017, 2018. And then she made the final in 2019. Again, unexpected. So it's not unheard of that the number 8 seed wins, or it has a run. I mean, I think in 21, I think there was like the bottom 4 players made the semis or something. It was like 5 and 6 and 7 made the semis. And then I think number 7 was it number 7 won or something like that? What about Pegula? Pegula could win too, yeah. Pegula made the final here a couple of years ago. I mean, it was in a different venue, but I could see Swiatek winning easily. Maybe. I mean, Swiatek was so unlucky last year, right? She won 2 matches, lost to Gauff, and she lost on countback pretty much. So she was so unlucky, Swiatek, last year to not progress, and that was only because she lost in straight sets to Gauff, and I think Krejcikova won a set against Gauff or something. It was something like that. But thank you, Sebi, for was it 38? 28 months. Appreciate that. And thank you, Andre, for the 10 months. No way Swiatek's going to win? All right. Why is the WTA Finals earlier than the ATP Finals? Probably so they don't clash. The WTA Finals used to be this week during Paris. Terrible idea. Now they've changed it, so it's a little bit less of a conflict, but still, like, it overlaps. By the way, somebody said it starts tomorrow, which is insane. It doesn't, because tomorrow's Wednesday. So does it? I'm pretty sure it starts Saturday. But then again, I thought the draw was coming out like tomorrow, so my times are all off. So I don't think they play Thursday. I don't think they start Thursday. The tickets aren't on sale for day 1 on Thursday. It's on Saturday. So I read somewhere that it was that day 1 was on Thursday, which I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it starts Saturday. Okay, everybody. Okay, good. Everybody agrees. Good. Saturday night. Yeah. And they got doubles too. When's the draw coming out? It should be coming out now. They're doing the draw right now, but there's no stream of it, so I'm here for to get the information required. How many people have to withdraw for Naomi to play? Like 7, 6, 5? She won't be playing. Are you agree ranking system right now, which counting points 1 calendar year or like 90s or for 2 years? I don't know what the 90s 2-year calendar was, so I have to do research, so I don't know. I don't know which is better. All I know is this ranking, so I don't know what... I don't know. No easy wins in this group. Oh, yeah, there's no... I mean, both groups are... Either way, it's going to be tough. There's no one's getting an easy group. Like, no one will get an easy group. You place Raducanu in the death group, it follows your match-up preferences. I don't think there is a death group, though. I don't think there is a death group. Like, I think both groups are going to be tough no matter what. Some players would rather play others. Like, you know, some would rather play, you know, maybe Paolini over Keys, or maybe Raducanu over Pegula, or Pegula over Raducanu, whatever. Or Sabalenka over Swiatek, or Swiatek over Sabalenka. But either way, I don't think there's going to be an easy path for anybody. Whereas previous years, it's been like, oh, well, you know, if Swiatek gets A, B, and C, she'll be in the semis. I don't think that happens this year. I don't think anyone has it. I mean, Gauff and Anisimova are tough for Sabalenka, right? No matter who it is. You know, Raducanu and Pegula are both tough for Swiatek, even though, you know, Raducanu hasn't beaten her lately. It's still, you know, a tough head-to-head. You know, Gauff and whoever, you know, it's I don't think anyone's going to have an easy road, at least on paper. Maybe they do in reality, but not on paper. All right. What is the surface of the WTA Finals? It's indoor hard courts. Indoor hard courts. Andreeva, 4,000 points and missed out. Yeah, that's got to be a first. It has to be a first that's happened, or at least it hasn't. Like, not many players would have won that good of a year and missed 4,000 points. I mean, like I keep saying this every time we come to the like final weeks. It's always, if you get 3,500 points, that's enough. Usually that's enough. Look on the men's side, right? And I think the reason why is because there wasn't a dominant player on the women's side. Whereas on the men's side, you got two guys who are hogging all the points. Yeah, Sabalenka's won 10,000 points, but on the men's side, you got one guy with 10,000, one with 50 or with 12,000, and then everybody else is kind of like drops off, right? On the women's side, Andreeva's got 4,300, and that's for ninth spot, right? On the men's side, 4,300 makes you number 6. And that's just behind Djokovic and Fritz, who are at 4,600. So, yeah, I mean, the lowest ranked player on the women's side is about middle of the points-wise. And the points are pretty similar. I know there's a couple of hundred points here and there that change, but points are pretty similar to each other these days. So you can see, like, yeah, I mean, 4,300 points. And by the way, there's 4 players on 4,300. Between 6 and 9, there is, 21 points between them? Which is insane. That's crazy. And there is a bit of a gap between, you know, Swiatek and Sabalenka, and then Swiatek and Gauff, and then there's a bit of a gap between Anisimova and Gauff. But other than that, it's you know, it's a 1,000 between them, you know. But they've all won 1,000s pretty much, or made finals. Dresses Nadal for Halloween? Nah. All right. The draw should be announced any moment. I thought Andreeva had visa issue. I think that was for Tokyo. That wasn't for Riyadh. For Saudi Arabia, it's different. I think for Saudi, and plus she would have also like applied for a visa for Saudi a long time ago, whereas I don't think she was. Again, we don't know why, but maybe she'll answer the question if she's doing doubles, then maybe they'll talk to her. But I think my guesstimation was that she wasn't going to play Tokyo, and then she realized that she had to, and then when she went to try and get into Japan, she didn't get the visa in time. Because when you go for visas, you don't just get them on the spot. You don't just be like, oh, I want a visa and then apply and then get it 24 hours later. Sometimes it takes weeks, and if you're, sometimes it takes months. It just depends on where you're from and where you're trying to go. So I think that's why someone on her team dropped the ball. But she was in such a good position that I don't think they expected her to miss out by 6 points. Like, she was literally one win away. Like, she just had to win one more match in Beijing, right? Or one more match in, somewhere else. I don't think I don't think her team or her, probably more, she was probably like, no, I can do this. I don't need to play Tokyo or apply for Tokyo. Was it not a problem with visa? What? No, we're talking about Tokyo. What are you talking about? We don't know the exact reason, but this is what she'll probably end up telling us because she's pretty open anyway. And we just nobody's spoken to her, in the press. So, but yeah, I think they're probably in such a good position that they thought, Rybakina had to win so much to end the season, to qualify. It was a long shot for Rybakina, but she got there. Whereas, Andreeva was, she had enough points to qualify any other year. And she missed out by one win. By one win. She wins one more match this year, and she's in. That's pretty much where, at least, it would have probably helped her if she had won one more match. Maybe Rybakina would have gone on and won in Tokyo and it would have changed things, but, But anyways, she was like one win away. And her team probably didn't expect her not to qualify with that many points, which is why they probably didn't get all the things. Because even if she did go to Tokyo, she would have had to get a wild card too. And they would have offered her one. I think she would have gotten like a special wild card because you can get those if for some reason. I'm not sure the exact reason what that is, but there's some, there's a special wild card for top players sometimes. But if the visa was the issue, then you can't really get a special visa. You have to wait in line like everybody else. All right. So again, an official nothing yet. We haven't got any word yet, but send it to me if you see anything on the website formerly known as Twitter. Send me information. But yeah. The draw will come out and we will break things down. She withdrew because she was qualified. What do you mean? Who was qualified? Insta posted something. Yeah, I saw that. It was just they're just posting a bunch of photos. No announcements or anything. Now they're not streaming the draw, which is a bit of a shame, but here we are. But don't worry. When the draw comes out, we will go through it. I don't know when the men's draw comes out. I think it's... Oh, actually, no. It's next week. I think it's a little bit later next week, I think. Do the records for the alternates versus the top seeds? Do you have the records? No, I don't off the top of my head. But we don't need to do that because the alternate's not playing. Until they play, there's no point in going through the alternates records because they're not going to play them. So, and if they do, we'll go through them on the day because it doesn't like if I go through the alternates records against everybody, they might play one of them, so it'd be just irrelevant, And we'll talk about it on the day if they ever play. can't see Swiatek doing much in the finals, unfortunately. She only had 8 top 10 wins this year. Yeah, I think... So I know I said that I don't think anybody's draw is going to be easy, but I think Swiatek's draw could be very hard. There's certain players I think she probably would like to avoid. There's definitely going to be players that have worse draws than others, but I think everybody's going to have a bad draw. I don't think anyone's going to be happy with who they have to play. But there's going to be some players that have worse draws than others, right? Some players are going to get have much harder time. But everyone's going to have a tough time. But some are going to have a worse time. The draw is literally picking 3 names for Sabalenka and 3 names for Swiatek's group. True. But they do all like all the stuff beforehand. They do like a whole ceremony and stuff, and they talk to the players and they do all that stuff. So it's a whole thing. And again, chat, every time we have a ceremony that isn't shown, I say it every time. This is one of the biggest flaws of our sport. It's one of the most disappointing parts of the sport is that we just don't have. I don't know. Do we not have the? Do the tournaments maybe not have the? No, it's not that they don't have the technology. It's just that they don't have the. They don't realize that it's so important, or they just don't. Maybe they. I mean, sometimes they can't show them. Maybe they just can't show the draw. Maybe there's like a contractual thing. Maybe they've signed that over to somebody and they're not doing the job. I don't know. But it is a pretty disappointing that they don't show the draws live, because with football or soccer, they do that for everything. Every single tournament, you got qualifiers of like Asia, World Cup qualifying matches. They do a draw. They do a draw for the Premier League. The big Premier League events. They do, or the big Champions League events, right? They do draws for that. Like all of that stuff. Like they do a draw for every single football. Most football things that are important, and the WTA Finals are pretty important. I don't even know if the ATP Finals do it. Did they do one last year? I don't know. They usually do like a gala, and it's all behind closed doors, and you're like, well, somebody just get the camera out. But it's one of the biggest, one of the most frustrating parts of the sport, because we're all like sitting here wondering what's going on. So yeah, but what can you do? All we can do is wait patiently, and when something gets announced, scream at the top of our lungs. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, or whatever you want to call it. We do have Alcaraz coming up in a few hours, so perfect. Plenty of time. They don't show the draw ceremony live. Nope, not for this tournament. I missed the Elite 8 for the B team players. Yeah, I tell you, I think the WTA and ATP finals could be so much bigger, and maybe they don't want to do it because it's too much effort. But the WTA and ATP finals they used to do. We'll go down a little bit of history until the draw comes out. We'll do a bit of a history lesson. Just get ready. So back in, I want to say 1990s? No. In the 1980s, before the formation of the ATP. Wait, hang on. Was it the 1970s? When the hell was it? Maybe it wasn't in the ATP finals. Maybe I'm confused. No, here we go. Back in the 1980s, they did a knockout tournament where the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players were qualified. The top 4 players got a bye in the first round, and then the rest of them played in a knockout event. So you had round of 16, quarterfinal, semifinal, final. And that's how they did it back in the 80s for the ATP finals, or the end of year championships, or whatever you want to call it. So they did that, and it was a draw size of 12. And it used to be knockout, and then the top 4 got a bye. So then the knockout tournament for the first, 5 versus 11 and 8 versus 10 and whatever. And then the winners would play the top 4 seeds, and then it would go from there. I kind of love that. But I would love it if it was 16. I think if it was 16, because back in 1985 they did a 16 draw with 4 seeds, and everybody played in the first round and then quarterfinal, semifinal, final. And Boris Becker, who was unseeded, went through and made the final and lost to Lendl, who was number 1 seed. So I would think that would be so sick if we did that, even if it was like an additional like exhibition thing. They'll never do that, but I would love that. I mean, I get the group stage, so everyone gets to play everyone. Everyone gets a chance to like play 3 matches and all that fun, fair, fun stuff, right? But like, I love that 16-player knockout. The best 16 players get to play each other in a knockout event. I love that. That would be so much fun. Be so much fun. The 12 Kings, yeah, that's it. That'd be so much fun. I mean, if we had that right, I'll tell you who hypothetically what that would look like on the women's side. So you would have Andreeva, Bencic would be in it. Osaka would be playing that event. You have Towson, Noskova, Svitolina, and Navarro. Alexandrova would have qualified. And that would have been a crazy top 16. Could you imagine if it was like Osaka versus Sabalenka first round? Like, come on now. What do you mean? Or Towson versus Swiatek first round. I mean, what the hell is that? That'd be crazy, right? Noskova versus, Gauff. Like, the matches would be insane. And it'd be Andreeva versus Sabalenka first round. How crazy would that be? Be madness, chat. Which is why they won't do it, because it's too crazy. But it's so crazy, it might just work. All right, looks like they're getting ready for the draw. Matchups could be nuts. I know, right? It'd be like a 1-week Masters on steroids. Crazy. I prefer the group stages. Yeah, okay. I like chaos, so I'm just like going for the crazy shit. Madness. What draw do you hope to see? I gotta be honest, I don't really have a preference to see who plays who. All I want to see is Raducanu play Gauff. That's the only match I want to see at some point this week. But other than that, or next week. Other than that, I don't want to see A, B, C play each other. I don't care, really. I don't think it matters. I don't think it makes a big difference. When the draw does come out and is revealed, I can tell you, we can go through if it did make a difference or not. But yeah, I'm not too like. There's no matchups that I don't want to see. It's not like I don't want to see, this person play this person because it's not fun. Everybody who's playing, I don't think there's anyone who's going to get an easy draw, so I'm not bothered. They should have a wild card in the WTA Finals. That would be fun. That would be fun if they had like one slot for like some. But then again, then it's not fair because the person who finished 8th doesn't get picked. I don't. Yeah. Right now, anyone can beat anyone. Yeah. Yeah. Keys versus. What do you want to see, chat? Let me know. What are the matches you want to see this week in the WTA Finals? What matches are you excited to hopefully get? All I want to see is Gauff versus Raducanu because we've never seen it in this current form. We've only ever seen it as a one match that happened 3 years ago. That when they weren't Raducanu just won Wimbledon and Gauff hadn't even started yet. Winning Slam. So Raducanu Gauff, Raducanu Swiatek, Gauff Raducanu, Anisimova Sabalenka. Sabalenka Bagula played too much to each other lately. Okay, cool. Raducanu Gauff, Paolini Swiatek, Swiatek Bagula again. Okay. Anisimova Raducanu, Gauff versus Raducanu. Raducanu Anisimova. Gauff will avoid Anisimova. Yep. Sabalenka versus Swiatek, Paolini Keys, Raducanu Keys, Swiatek versus anyone. Gauff versus Raducanu. See, a lot of people want that match. We're all thinking the same thing. We want to see that. It's been something that we've had. I mean, every year we always seem to like. Every year we want that match and we're waiting for that match and it never happens. Every year ever since Raducanu became, so because Gauff in 2022 was still very relevant. She's been relevant for years, but that's, ever since Raducanu broke out on the scene, we're like, we've seen her play Swiatek, we've seen her play Sabalenka, we've seen her play Pegula. I want to see her play Gauff, and she never, ever plays Gauff. And if she doesn't play Gauff this week, then she won't play her for the, third straight season. And they played once in 5 seasons, or 6 years that Gauff's been on the tour. Once in 6 years? That's just not right. Anisimova, Raducanu have not met? Yeah, but that's because Anisimova is new to the top 10. Whereas Gauff and Raducanu have been Grand Slam champions and top 10 players for years. Yet they never play. It's because Sabalenka or Swiatek beats the other one, right? And stops that from happening because they never beat Gauff, never could beat Swiatek and Sabalenka and Raducanu, it would be 50-50. So we just never got it. They just never peaked at the same time. It was, Gauff was playing well when Raducanu wasn't, or Raducanu played well when Gauff wasn't. Just never collide. So we have to get the group match because then they will have to play. They will have to play. So the group stage, we need them to be in the group. So that then we get that match guaranteed. And it better be day one. I want that match day one so no one gets injured. We get that match first and we get it out of the way. All right, looks like everyone's finding their seats. So we're slowly getting this started. Will Cam Norrie beat Carlos today? No. Jabeur versus Osaka, Ostapenko. That's not happening. Oh, just kidding. Good one. Tennis gods in our favor. If Gauff and Raducanu are in the same group, the tennis gods are giving us something. They know, because obviously the tennis gods, they know. But if the tennis gods are on our side, then they will let that match happen. Muguruza just said they're starting. Cool. Good. Without luck, Raducanu would pull out with injury. Well, don't say that. Why would you say that? Muguruza tournament director. Yeah. Good. All right. She should just go live on her Instagram. Raducanu and Anisimova. Okay. All the players attend the draw ceremony? I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're all there. They're not streaming it. I feel Raducanu could beat anybody. Yeah, I agree. She could beat anybody in the tournament. For sure. For sure. Raducanu versus Anisimova could be interesting. Yeah, that could be. Definitely could be. By the way, Fokina and Roy are playing. So Alcaraz is coming on in 2 hours. Is there any match on before him, or is it just straight into Alcaraz night session, or is Fokina before that? No. No. Okay, good. So we're starting on time. Yay! When's Sinner start tomorrow? Sinner will probably start around this time tomorrow, right? I don't know. Sinner versus Bergs. Bergs has been okay lately. Look like Raducanu is much better with Vukov. Yeah, I mean, there's stability. When her, again, we've said this many times. Say what you will about him, and you have your opinion on him, but you can't deny that when he's in the box and her coaching is like, well, at least she doesn't have to juggle coaches. She's much better. Well, she's been much better. I mean, the start of the year was a shambles because there was so much going on and she couldn't get any rhythm, on court or with the coach's box. It was all over the place. Who does Cam think the most random ability to either beat everybody or lose to everybody? What? What do you I think Keys is the scariest player in the draw. Is that what you're asking? Is that what you're asking me? When's it starting? Right now, apparently, according to Muguruza. Anisimova has the strongest ground strokes when she playing her best. True. But the problem that Anisimova is going to face is that everybody, including everybody in this chat, is saying that she is the one to watch. And is that going to scare her? Because if she's the one that we're all thinking is going to win or expecting her to do well, is that pressure going to be too much? That's the problem, right? It's like Anisimova's done her best work when nobody's been expecting it. The only time I think she's performed well when everybody was expecting her to win was that Sabalenka-Wimbledon match. And we thought she could win this, and she did. But then the Wimbledon final obviously wasn't great. She surprised everyone by beating Swiatek at US Open, and then she, again, in the final of the US Open, just couldn't get it done. You know, she has won good matches lately, but everybody's going, well, Anisimova's the one to win. She's the one to, you know, she should be the favorite. But that might be bad for her, right? Because she's, you know, the expectation, if everybody's expecting her to do well, I think everybody's thinking she's making the semis, right? Minimum. But that's a lot of pressure if everyone thinks that she should make the semis. So, I don't know. Swiatek, Raducanu, my girls for the win. Nice. What are the betting odds? I don't think the odds are out yet because they haven't done the draw yet. But they're doing the draw apparently right now. According to the internet. Draw coming up minutes away. And that was 7 minutes ago. So Sabalenka, Pegula, and Anisimova, Gauff. Is that what you want? Okay, cool. Gauff will make the semis, I reckon. You reckon? Again, send it to me on whatever this website's called, and we'll go from there. If you see anything, they're not showing it anywhere, unfortunately. There is no live ceremony, which there never has been with the WTA. I mean, we've been doing this whatever you want to call this, for years, and they never do a ceremony for the ladies. I don't know if they did one for the men's last year, or they definitely sometimes do, but it's usually behind closed door. It's like a gala, or it's some like fancy ass event where they just don't want to broadcast it to the public. They want to. I mean, look, if you spend thousands of dollars to go to a gala and then they stream it, you know. Besides the dinner that you would get, you know, is it worth it? You know, so maybe that's why they don't. One of the perks of paying for a ticket, I guess, is you get to see the draw before everybody else. I prefer Raducanu plays Anisimova because, in principle, her style matches better with Gauff. Okay. There's no stream for the draw. We are the unofficial stream. I am the unofficial draw ceremony, whatever, host or whatever. It was live when it was in Singapore. Okay. Yeah, I wonder why they'd stopped doing it. I'm just shocked that American tournaments don't do draw ceremonies. Like, no American event does a live ceremony, streamed ceremony. It must be a broadcast thing. It's got to be some sort of signed away the rights, you know? They must have signed away the rights to someone. And they're not going to do anything with it. You know, they're sitting on that and going, we're not going to do a ceremony. Maybe. It's a bootleg stream, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Bootleg as hell. Just joined, they're releasing today. Yes, they're releasing it now, like in the next, well, they were supposed to release it, well, they said an hour ago, but these things never come out on time. We don't believe in all that, just get to it and play when you play. What? I'm missing half the conversation. What are you saying? Americans will broadcast the NFL practice over a draw ceremony. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Because it is a big deal for our sport. I mean, these besides actual matches, draw ceremonies are the most important part. I feel like the most important part of tennis. You know, the matches are obviously the thing that everybody wants to see the most, but I think draw ceremonies are second. Like live news is great, and you know, breaking news and stuff is fine, but I think the ceremonies are the thing that people want to see. You know, I mean, how many people come in here and ask, "Where's the draw? Where's the draw? When's it coming out?" I mean, that should tell the tournaments, hey, maybe people are asking for it. I mean, Paris did their draw and it went fucking nuts. You know? Is Sabalenka confirmed year in number 1? I'm not sure. I don't think so, because otherwise she would have been announced already. Anisimova versus Raducanu, that could be fun. That could be very fun. The iconic photo of the 8th and the outfits and all. Oh yeah, you mean the the group photo they do. She leads by 1,700 points. They released. So then she is number 1. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, because they took all the points off this week. I think. Did they take all the points off already? Maybe. No? Yes? Maybe? She's more than 1,500. Yeah, more than 1,500 ahead. There's still a chance of point deduction. I don't think they deducted the points already, didn't they? Didn't they deduct points last week? I should know. Fuck, I should know. Yeah, they already took the points off. Did they? Yeah. Yeah, they deduct the points the week before. So last week when I did the update on the rankings, that was the recent, all the points from last year. So Gauff's points and Swiatek's points and everyone else's points dropped off. So they start this week with the exact amount of points they won this year. No bonus points from last year. No extra points. WTA Finals is better than the ATP Finals? It might be this year. If they did why is Keys number 7, not number 6? I don't know, because there's some like probably weird rule that we don't know. If I go have a look at if I go look at the WTA Finals rankings, so it's because Raducanu won more points this year than Keys, and also Keys might have got penalized for not playing enough tournaments. She only played 2 500s, so maybe that had something to do with it. You know, maybe there was not a points penalty, but like maybe there was one of her results got taken away or something. I don't know. I'm not sure why, because I thought for sure I thought Keys was going to be number 6 as well. But I think she got penalized for playing enough. She got penalized 50 points. Yeah. Because she didn't play enough mandatory events. Yeah. She only played 2 500s. And yeah, she was injured for most of them, but she could have played more at the start of the year, I guess. That's why they penalized her. She could have played more. She only played 2. She didn't play 500, same as Sabalenka and Swiatek, and they got no points penalty. Wait, so points penalty, yeah. There you go. I don't think it matters though, because I said last week I think Raducanu would rather have played Pegula instead of Paolini. So I think the fact that she has to play Paolini or Keys and not play Pegula, I think is a bad thing. I think she would have rather played Pegula, and avoided playing maybe Paolini, because the last time they played, even though Paolini last time they played lost, Paolini has been way more difficult for Raducanu than Pegula has. Because Pegula, what is it? 3-1. Oh no, hang on, 3-1 Pegula. Okay, maybe not. Again, this is what the WTA Finals is. Like, as soon as you think, oh well, this is going to happen, and then you go, oh well, no, because this. Like, there's just so many. Like, it's just such a again, nobody, I mean, anyone could win, and nobody could win. Actually, that's not true. Somebody will win. Do you think Keys will fall out of the top 10 after the Australian Open Cam? Maybe. I don't know. I'll say yes, just because she has a lot of points in Australia, but like before Australian Open too. Not just the AO. You play 80 matches and you get penalized for not playing a round of 500. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. You don't if you don't play the right tournaments, you get penalized. You got to play the tournaments that they assign you. So what did Sabalenka? So Sabalenka took like pretty much the entire end of the year off. So she missed out on a lot of 500s at the end of the year. Swiatek though, she didn't play. What didn't she play? I mean, yeah, 500s are weird. It's weird. I mean, she didn't play. Gauff didn't play enough either. The only players that played enough to meet the quota were Pegula, Raducanu, and Palini. But they all finished 5, 6, 8. So even though they, I mean, yeah. So the players that didn't, but that's the thing. Like you can take a 0 if you win a Grand Slam because, you know, you've won so many points. You can take a 0. I mean, she played the least amount of tournaments out of everybody in this year except for Keys, and she finished first by a mile. You know, so as long as you do well at the slams. You can take a big. I mean, she took a 0 in the 1000s as well. Sabalenka. I mean, she took a big 0 as well. So because she didn't play the Asian swing. So yeah, interesting. Anyways, draw should be coming out any moment. I know I've been saying that for many moments, but I'm not stalling. I'm here. I'm waiting like everybody. Do you believe, Cam, that a new WTA chair will change the tour? Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the competition is good and the players are great, you know. So, I mean, what could they come in and do? I think the thing is, I think they need to, I mean, the WTA, the only thing that I think they need to try and do is align with the ATP a bit more. Because the ATP system, like the way that, you know, the point system, and they've started to do that. They've changed the names to like, you know, 500, 1000, 250, like on the ATP, because it's really confusing to have like, this is called a 1000, this is called a Premier mandatory. And you're like, what? Like, it's much better to have them all the naming the same, but then also the points the same. So then when we're talking about a Grand Slam semi-final, it's the same as, you know, Sabalenka and, you know, if she makes a semi as, you know, Alcaraz, right? It's the same point. So for fans, it's much easier to understand. You know, I think that's the only way that I would want them to be better is to make it a bit more like, and I mean, the ATP could change their points to be like the ladies, but the ATP have like round numbers now. They're going like 200, 400, 500, 600, 1000, 2000, right? They're not doing like 1001. Like, they're not doing that shit. On the WTA, they still do that, where it's like, oh, first round loss, you get a point. And you're like, that's annoying. So I kind of rather would, you know, have the rankings be like that, and also the rules be similar, because like the ranking rules are different. You got all the 1000s on the men's side, except for Monte Carlo are mandatory, but on the women's side, it's like 6 of them are, but then there's others that aren't, and then it's blah blah blah. Like I think we just need to get it. Everything just needs to be more unified. They don't need to merge, but I think it just makes more sense. It makes it easier to understand for us if it's like one. We just have to learn one rule book. We don't have to learn 2 different, you know, tours. Especially this time of year when we're trying to figure out rankings and stuff. It's a bit confusing. Unless you're a mathematician. But yeah, a new CEO will probably, I mean, they needed to change, I think, because a lot of people were not happy. Rinderknecht Vasheroy prediction. I think Rinderknecht will get the win. And it'll be 1-1 going to the trilogy in next year. Roland Garros trilogy. 5-setter. 5 hours. On ATP, Alcaraz has 15 tournaments and Sinner has played 11 so far, which is lesser than the most of ATP. Yeah. Well, the players that play more is the ones that, I mean, the players that are playing like 40 tournaments a year are probably not winning all of them, right? Because they wouldn't play every week unless they had to, right? So the players that are not playing as many probably win the ones they play, which is what Alcaraz does, right? But then someone like a Rude, who plays a lot, doesn't do as well, so he's going to have to make up for it by playing more tournaments, for example. But then there's someone like Zverev, who plays like all the time too. I know Sinner was banned, but I'm just saying, that's why I'm using Alcaraz as an example. All right, chap. Judy Murray is doing the ceremony, apparently. I think she's an ambassador. So that's fun. We have Sinkeraz and Rinderoy. Rinderoy. I love that. Who did Swiatek run into? We don't know yet. We're just waiting. I guess they're just waiting for the Alcaraz match to start, and then they'll give us the draw, because that's easy. That's better for me. That's great. That's all I need tonight. We almost missed this. We're very I'm glad that somebody in the chat brought it up, because we would have watched it anyway, because I wouldn't have been asleep, but yeah, it's been a bit of a, they didn't really announce anything. They need to make a bigger announcement. The WTA need to make a big announcement on this. They need to be like, hey, everybody, this is what's happening at this time. And you're like, I'll be there. But yeah. We're still waiting. Still waiting. By the way, chat, anyone doing anything fun in the off season? Anybody going away? Anybody doing anything? I might go away locally, not overseas. I can't afford it. I'm looking at maybe going to Sydney. You're moving house. Nice. Good luck. Good time to move in the off season, and then set up and watch the new season and new house. New tennis season, new house. Looking for internships? Nice. Good luck. We're getting that draw in a second. Is that Sydney as in Australia's best city? No, it's Sydney as in Australia's second best city that think they're the best, but that's what we let them think because we're from Melbourne. I'm just going there to suss it out, to make, just to see if, why, and just to go there and tell everyone why I'm just going there to tell everyone why Melbourne's better. I'm going there as a recruit for Melbourne, a tourism recruit. I'm just going to go there, and at the top of the Harbour Bridge, I'm just going to go, Melbourne's got better coffee. We don't have a bridge, but we've got a laneway with graffiti. I'll be crying lonely for tennis in the off-season. There is tennis in the off-season. You just got to watch challenger events or something. By the way, I just realized that the joke I made no sense because nobody here is from Australia. That joke would have been funny if it was during the daytime. If it was 3 p.m., that would have gone down really well. 3 a.m., everyone's like, I don't get it. I get it. You're not from Australia. It's an Aussie. You have to be Australian to understand that. Working on my sad forehand. Too many coaches. Oh, you have too many coaches telling you how to hit a forehand? That's not good. Are they talking so much time? They're rigging the draw or what? No, they're just waiting for you to arrive. But you're here now, so we can get started. I'll be rewatching Isner versus Mahou Wimbledon. That should be the last of the holidays. That's funny. I'm going to watch Christmas movies. Starting tomorrow. Oop, WTA put something on there. What did they do? Nothing. They're just showing the trophy. Okay. Oh, hang on. No, they're just showing the trophy. Okay. Are you gonna watch the Top Spin 25 in the off season? What's that? Like, is that they're doing a tournament or something? Are you finished with Halloween films? Not yet. I've got The Purge. I still got to watch The Purge, and I also found Alien 3 today, so I'm probably gonna watch the Alien trilogy. It just sucks because I just don't have any time. Like, I can't watch movies at night because this time of year is getting real crazy. But had this not have happened now, after the Eala match or before, I would have watched like a couple of things. But actually, no. Last night I did watch 2 movies. I watched Monster, super creepy, because it's real. And then I watched Hell House LLC, which was also super creepy. That was super creepy as well. So I watched those last night. But yeah, I want to watch The Purge and Alien. And then it'll be good. I still got a stack of, but I watch horror movies all year round, so it doesn't have to be Halloween to be horror. By the way, I'm going to watch Christmas horror movies as part of my Christmas marathon. I'm still up. I get the joke. Thank you, Jess. At least one person thought it was a joke. This is taking more than last night's World Series game. Good one. I mean, baseball? I go for the Rockies, so we're on holiday. Which Alien? I found Alien 3, but I've got Alien 1 and 2, so I want to watch all 3. I know that there's more, and I got Prometheus too. I don't mind Prometheus. I think it's pretty good. But I'll watch 1 and 2, and then maybe I'll watch 3 if I feel like it. By the way, Predator Badlands comes out. Also, I need to watch the Alien Earth. Shit. It's just too much going on. I have to watch Alien Earth. Damn it. What are they doing now? I don't know. They're not. I'm not there. They must be just like talking still. That baseball game went 18 innings. Well, that's crazy. That's what, like double the amount, right? Because 9 is the 2 times 9 is 18. I think you're more of a fan of WTA ATP. Is that correct? No, I'm just a fan of tennis. I mean, I don't. The reason why we watch so much WTA is because right now, and it happens, like, you know, it goes up and down, right? But right now, WTA is more interesting, right? It's more interesting because there's more, like, every match that happens at this WTA Finals will be interesting. It won't be any like, oh, well, that person's going to win in straight sets. Like, every match going on is interesting. Whereas on the men's side of things, like Paris right now, we're just waiting for Alcaraz versus Sinner, right? I don't think anybody, maybe Zverev Sinner rematch in the semis, maybe. But other than like some fun first rounds, we're really only just waiting for the final. Like, everyone's like, oh, we want to see the cousins play. Yeah, that's fun, but it doesn't mean, like, the winner of that match isn't going to go on and beat Alcaraz. Unlikely, right? That's why we watch. That's why we're this year it's been more WTA, because WTA has just been more interesting. You know, and until maybe next year, you know, if some of the guys step up or Alcaraz and Sinner don't dominate, then maybe next year we'll watch more of the men's because, you know, it'll be a little bit more interesting overall. But on the women's side of things, I mean, there's just so many good players, and there's just so many fun players, and then there's just so many like up and coming players like Mboko, Eala, who are going to be playing in a couple of days. You know, Jovic, who we haven't really got to watch much this year, but she's up and coming as well. Obviously, we watched Andreeva a lot at the start of the year. You know, and then the top 10 have just been, or the top 8 have just been awesome. You know, there've been so many great matches between the top 10 and the top 8. Valentova is another one. Yeah, exactly. one of my personal favorites. But yeah, it'll be on the men's side. I mean, Fonseca's starting to rise, this year, and we love that. Hopefully, he is he is going to be a problem for those big dudes. But just WTA is just more. I just think there's just more going on right now on the WTA. There's just more things to talk about. On the men's side of things, it's like it's the same question every day. Who's going to disrupt Alcaraz Sinner? Who's going to level them, right? We ask that question every week, and it's, and we always ask that question every time they play somebody who we think is going to be a threat, and they don't do anything, and we're like, oh, well, that wasn't fun. So that's why I just think WTA is just more, it's just more interesting right now. There's more to talk about. There's more going on. There's more to look forward to. There's more, even with the ATP Finals, we're going to have some interesting group stages, but we're not going to, Sinner and Alcaraz probably go 3-0 unless something bad happens, So, yeah. All right, names are about to be drawn, apparently. Here we go. None of this is live. We're just waiting for screenshots and updates. That's all we're waiting for. All right. Like I said, I don't think there's really anybody really wants to avoid anybody. I don't think there's any massive... maybe Palini has some preferences where she'd rather play, Gauff instead of Anisimova, or she'd rather play, Raducanu over Pegula maybe. I don't know. But other than that, I think everybody is, once the draw comes out, we can assess it properly. But I don't think there's anyone kind of sweating on, oh, I don't want to play this person, like there was in previous years where nobody wanted to play Swiatek, right? Everybody wanted to avoid Swiatek except for Krejcikova. I think this year, like last year, right? This year, I think it's a little bit more evenly spread, and I think a lot more players. I don't think there's going to be anyone who's going to be hoping they dodge somebody. Joint Eala and Boko Valentova, so many good young players. Oh yeah, it's going to be so much fun to watch all those players in the future. WTA is in good hands. It's always been good, but yeah, the WTA has got a great top 10, competitive top 10, and then a great young players coming through that are going to challenge the top 10 in the future. On the men's side of things, you've got a great number 1 and 2, historic, rivalry at this stage already. And then you've got an okay top 10. Not as good though. Djokovic is still there, which is great for history, but other than him, nobody else really is as competitive. They're all injured at this point as well, which sucks. And then the young guys coming through, the Fonseca and Tien and even Feast and those guys and Menchik, some of them are injured, some of them are not quite, you've got to give them another 12 months and then they'll get maybe to where we want them to. But yeah, it's the ATP this year has been a little bit more, it's been a little, there's a lot more distance between everybody and then on the women's side, it's a lot closer. All right, here we go. They're just doing the Saudi national anthem, and then we will get to find out who the hell's going to play who. And then Alcaraz versus Norrie is coming up in 2 hours, an hour and a half. WTA has a competitive top 25. Oh, yeah. Top 10 scariest WTA finals of all time. Oh, this is, no one's safe. No one should be... everyone's going to have to play well this week, if they're going to win this tournament. The winner of the WTA Finals this year, I think this year's winner should be, it should be remembered because of how competitive it's been. Not just to get in, because of course Andreeva missed out with 1 million points, and she still missed out. But I think this year's WTA Finals, the winner of this finals is going to this is going to be the toughest WTA Finals ever, at least recently. It's definitely going to be the toughest finals yet. Can Norrie win a set tonight? Maybe. You can't watch it anywhere, unfortunately. They're not showing it anywhere. No way to find it. Final will be Jasmine versus Iga. That'd be fun. The Alcaraz Nori match might be coming first before the draw. Yeah. Now the draw's coming out now. Apparently, they've just they're literally starting it now, and it's not going to be that hard. I mean, they just like go this person, this person, this person. They're playing. Thank you, everybody. Good night. It's going to be the toughest finals yet to win. Yeah, for sure. Alcaraz is playing in an hour. I don't know why everyone's freaking out about Alcaraz. He's not playing. He's playing in an hour, in like an hour and a half. And this draw's going to come out in 10 minutes. Serena would win this in her sleep. That is her confidence. Yeah, Serena wouldn't even have to. She'd just have to qualify, and if she had the Grand Slam rule, she wouldn't have played any other time. She would have just played the Grand Slams and then jumped in the WTA Finals. Have you seen Gil's Monday morning analysis? It was one of his best. Did a breakdown of last week's finals. Very fascinating, Fonseca. No, I haven't. I have to check it out. Cancun was one of the worst. Yeah, but that was because the conditions were shocking. And Swiatek dominated, so it was a little bit predictable. Whereas this year, no one is safe. No one is guaranteed to win. You're gonna have everything's gonna be earned this week. Cancun was fun though. It was wild. Like that story was insane. Fort Worth was ghost town. Yeah, Fort Worth was quiet. But Guadalajara in 21 was random as hell, but it was great because the atmosphere was insane. It's a great, great atmosphere. They made a 1,000 tournament because of the atmosphere. Thanks for doing this. It keeps the fan very intrigued. Yeah, that's all right. I'm happy. I'm glad we could do it. This is one of my. I wish they would do this live so we could see it. But one of my favorite things to do on the channel is doing these live because I love seeing these things happen in real time and actually, everyone freaking out. Like we're freaking out at the Paris draw, right? I love seeing it, but unfortunately we can't see it now. But yeah, like I said, the only match that I want to see in the group is Raducanu versus Gauff. If I get that, it's a win. I'm happy. Everything else, I'm not too bothered by. I don't really think there's anyone like needs to avoid anybody else. But Raducanu Gauff, if we get that match, perfect. Whereas on the men's side of things, when we break this down for the men in a week, it'll be a lot more important, right? Who gets who? Because there'll be players that are better against Sinner than they are against Alcaraz and vice versa, or have a better chance. And then there'll be players that have no chance against Sinner or Alcaraz and they need to avoid them. This week is not, like this tournament is not the same as that because this tournament, I don't think anybody wants to avoid anybody or needs to avoid anybody to be a chance. I think everybody could win. Everybody's got a chance, Why are we assuming that Anisimova will play well here? I feel pressure will get to it. Well, that's what I was saying. Everyone's thinking that Anisimova might be the favorite or the one that everybody wants or expects to win because she's done so well everywhere else. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that could be scary for Anisimova to be the one who's expected to win. You have to win 2 out of 3 matches, and that might get you into the finals, into the semis. It didn't last year for some, but guys, your favorite edition of the WTA Finals? Personally, I like the one where Barty won. I like 2019 because Barty won. That was the first one we watched. We didn't watch it before that because the channel wasn't around. But 2019 for me, personally. Last year was pretty good though. We had some pretty crazy matches last year. 2021 was fun as well because it was really random and there was no Barty pulled out, so he didn't play. It was pretty awesome. But I think 2021 was my favorite. 2019, sorry, had so many injuries. If you remember that, there was what was it there were 3 alternates came in or something. It was carnage. On Andreeva got injured, and then I think Pliskova got injured, and then I think Osaka withdrew, and Kvitova, and it was just like, wow, no. And then, yeah, it was a survival of the fittest. It was crazy. The injuries everywhere. 2005 was good. Davenport, Sharapova, Mauresmo classes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go like back in time and check all that out because I'm sure there's some epics. I mean, they used to play at Madison Square Garden, didn't they? No, they used to do 5-setters. That was the big thing back in the day. WTA used to play 5-set matches at the end of the year finals. The final of the finals was 5 sets. Back in the 80s. Why was it taking so long? I don't know. The Wi-Fi. Nisimova is the dark horse, but I want Gauff to win. I don't think Nisimova's a dark horse. She's a favourite. She's one of the favourites. They should go back to Singapore. They won't be doing that anytime soon. I think Riyadh has been locked up, locked it in for a while, right? Isn't it like 5 years? They should go back to Singapore. Are you the same person? You just copy and paste the same. You have 2 different accounts though. Gary and Christian, you just copied each other's answers. Who would you say are the favorites? I don't think there is a favorite. There's players that probably have less of a chance than others. Like, I think that maybe it would be very tough for Paolini to win. And Keys with no matches might be tough for her to win. And maybe Pegula, if she gets, Sabalenka, who she's beaten this year, but she's also lost a lot of matches too. And if she gets, maybe Anisimova and Sabalenka in the group, that could be tough. But then again, also they could all win. Like, Paolini could be fine, and Keys could play amazing, and Pegula could be fine. So, yeah. Which is what makes this tournament so awesome this year. Makes it so crazy. Makes it so interesting. All right. Still waiting. I don't know if they're doing interviews or what, but again, thanks for hanging in there, everybody. I'm doing my best to try and keep it interesting. Regardless of rankings and WTA Finals outcome, who do you think has the best year overall, Cam, if we say one name? Who's had the best season? I mean, Sabalenka. I think we have to go Sabalenka, right? Because not just because she's number one, but she's been so consistent. Like, hasn't she made like 8 finals or something? Didn't she make she qualified in July. She qualified after Wimbledon. It was, she won 2 1,000. She won, obviously, the US Open. She probably should have won the Australian Open or the French Open. I know she won 4 titles, which is more than anybody else, but she also played less. She played 15 matches, tournaments. So she won 4 out of 15. Best conversion. Plus, she made the semifinals or better at every slam, which is better than anybody else did. And she didn't play. It's crazy she didn't play that much. So, yeah, Sabalenka. And if she loses, she goes 0-3 in the WTA Finals. I don't think that changes it. I think her season has been the best season. She's number one in the race, which means she's the best. Yeah, but some players are number one and they're only number one by this much, right? You could argue that back in 2024 or even 2023 that, Sabalenka or Swiatek had a better year than the other. because they were so close. But this year, I don't think you can say that Sabalenka's had Swiatek has had a better year than Sabalenka. I mean, Sabalenka should have 2 or 3 slams this year, whereas Swiatek got Wimbledon, but she didn't really have a chance in. She didn't really have a chance at the US. She kind of got smoked in the end, and then she also didn't really. She could have made the final of the Australian Open, but would she have beaten Sabalenka? I don't know. And at the French Open, she lost to Sabalenka, in 3 sets, but still. Would she have beaten Gauff in the final? Who knows? Who's had a better year between Gauff and Iga? I mean, probably Swiatek, right? It feels like Swiatek hasn't had as many bad losses. That's the difference between them two, right? Is that it feels like Gauff has had a lot more upsets. Yeah, Swiatek lost to players that we wouldn't expect, but it didn't feel like Swiatek was losing. Like, she lost to Eala, right? And that was like the biggest shock. But then Eala hasn't been too bad, this year overall. Whereas Gauff, I feel like, has had some really weird losses. We're like, what was that? Plus, also her serving has been such a big talking point. Whereas Swiatek's game, besides her not winning a title until Wimbledon, it didn't feel like Swiatek's game was. She was adapting it, which eventually worked. I just feel like maybe with Gauff it was a little bit. Some of her losses were a bit worse than Swiatek, but for winning wise, they're pretty similar. They've both won slams. They've both won 1,000 events, right? And we're still waiting for the drop to happen. It's probably happened. They just haven't released it. Gauff made more finals than Swiatek. Yeah, but she must have lost more first rounds or second rounds because she didn't have more points. 3 titles are better than 2? Pardon me. They both won 3 titles. What do you mean? They both won 3 titles. Gauff won the United Cup. That's a title. That counts. I mean, Swiatek didn't. She made the quarterfinals or better at every slam. Gauff lost first round of Wimbledon. Tough first round, but she lost first round Wimbledon. And then she lost 4th round of the US as well. Very close. I hope, actually, you know what? I hope they play. I hope we get Raducanu, Gauff, and Swiatek in the same group, because I think one thing is separately, Swiatek's probably had a better year than Gauff on paper. But when they played each other, Gauff's been better than Swiatek this year. When they, again, like head to head, right? Her head to head record has been like 3-0, like over the last 12 months. So when they play each other, advantage Gauff. So I hope we get, again, I hope it's, I hope the groups are Keys, Raducanu, Gauff, Swiatek. That's what the group should be. And then the other group will be Palini, Pegula, Anisimova, Sabalenka. That's what I want. They're my dream groups. They're my groups. Because I think Pegula and Sabalenka played some of the best tennis this year. When they played each other, they played some amazing tennis. US Open semifinals was incredible. Probably the highest quality match of the year. And then when they played that epic in, was it Beijing? Sorry, Sabalenka didn't. She played Beijing. She played Wuhan, didn't she? She skipped Beijing. It was in Wuhan. That was incredible. That comeback. And then Palini, I think, has a chance against Pegula and, maybe can defend well against the big hitting of Sabalenka and Anisimova. Plus, also, Sabalenka and Anisimova are very similar. So if you lose to one of them, you can adjust for the other because they're very similar types of players. So, I think Palini's game, her defense, could do well against those two. So let's have that group, please. Can we get that, please? Can we please get that? That'd be great. Thank you. Still waiting for this draw. Swiatek has not head-to-head winning record in this field against anyone except for Raducanu for this season. That's crazy. Yeah. That's just like, and this is the thing. Like, rewind to 2022. It was Swiatek versus everybody, right? Like, Swiatek was dominating. Everybody else was trying to figure out who was number 2, 3, 4. It was Swiatek's tour, right? She went on that streak. It was insane. She didn't lose any matches. It was crazy. But because of that, 3 years later, look at the level. It's not that Swiatek's gotten worse. It's that everybody else has kind of figured her out a bit, but also everyone else has gotten better. Like, the WTA quality of the WTA this year, like this season, shows that. How good it is, but also how even it is as well. Whereas in 2022, it was like Swiatek was just easy, just dominating, right? And everybody else was like a shambles. Nobody could figure out what to do. Kind of like the men's side a little bit, where it's like the 2 guys up the top, and then everybody else is kind of figuring out where they fit. Hopefully, in a year or 2, then the men's side of things will have a similar. Everybody will rise to that level that has been set by Sinner and Alcaraz, right? Or at least try and figure out how to get there, right? All right. Draw is about to happen. According to what I'm refreshing. The level going up because of Swiatek. Yeah, Swiatek set the bar. Like, in a post-Serena world, I know Osaka set the bar, but then she was gone when Swiatek sort of reset the bar, right? She set the bar and everybody's risen. I mean, Sabalenka was first, and then Coco. In 2023, they both lifted. And then, and now we've got players like Paolini who've come out of nowhere. Pegula has lifted. She's consistently been in that group. Obviously, Anisimova's come good this year. Zhang was great last year, but she was injured this year, so that was a little unfortunate. Keys, she was great last year. She was better this year, obviously, winning a slam. Raducanu, since 2022, has been great. She should have played the finals in 22, but Wimbledon didn't count, and there was no Grand Slam rule. So she should have been at the WTA Finals in 22, and maybe it would have been different. But Swiatek is the reason why the WTA is so good. She started it. She started this playing the high level that everybody had to try and chase. They're literally sitting and waiting for hours for no reason. Well, that's what we're doing here too. We're here 2 hours, and I thought I'd be here for 20 minutes before they said something, but that's the joy of the sport. Yeah, we're just sitting there too. Oh, the difference is that we're sitting here yapping, and they're sitting there trying to put the draw together. All right. Maybe some technical difficulties. No, I just think they're probably doing some housekeeping where they're just talking and stuff. You've been saying that for about 40 minutes. Well, that's the thing. They said the draw was coming out at 2:30 or 6:30 p.m. and now it's like 8 p.m. So don't point at me. I don't have the schedule. I don't make the schedule. I wouldn't have gone live if I knew that was going to be an hour late or an hour later. Isn't the United Cup about to start soon? That's in January. Swiatek's at the benchmark for this decade, and everyone tried to reach it. Oh, yeah. Exactly. It can't be that hard. There are only 8 players. Well, that's why they're probably going to make this last long, because there's only 8 players. So they're like, well, the draw ceremony would take like 5 seconds. So they've obviously just got to take some time. Otherwise, it would have been like, all right, 1, 2, 3 over there, 1, 2, 3 over there. All right, done. Don't worry, we had time to spare, I guess. And what else were you going to be doing for the last 2 hours? Most of you were probably at work. Most of you are probably just chilling at work, Sid. What else are we going to do? What else are we going to I mean, I had nothing else to do either. It was 2 a.m. What was I going to do? Go run around the block like a psycho at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday? No. Hell no. Oh, they go do the doubles as well. Exactly. Would have had a nap, to be honest. Oh, well, that's because you're from Australia, so it's different. Rip to the Australians. Sucks to be us. 24-hour Mackie D's. Yeah, but that shit's unhealthy, man. I did have Taco Bell today, so that's why I feel like shit. Not because I had Taco Bell, just because if I ate McDonald's, I can't do that. It would be too sad if you stopped streaming and the draw came out. But that's not going to happen. I'm not going to abandon you. It's all right. Don't worry, I'm staying. We'll come this far. I'm off this week, but trying to work on PhD, needed a break. Hey, good time to take a break. Is it about to happen? Apparently it's happening as we speak. It's just not being shown. It's a secret. I have nothing to do. That sucks. Who do you think will play the United Cup? I have no idea. I'm just trying to get through today, man. I'm at that point in the year where I'm just taking it day by day. And then when the United Cup happens, we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about 2026 in 2026. Do you have any friends in Jamaica? There's a Cat 5, Hurricane, and Melissa making landfall now. No, I don't. But anybody who watches the channel from Jamaica, stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. Stay inside or stay safe. Finding your channel this year was great. Oh, Sebastian, love that. Thank you for hanging out. Did you watch Dimmy yesterday? No, but I saw some highlights and he looked good. It was very nice to see him back. Hoping for Draper, Raducanu, Great Britain team. That'd be fun. Draw happened an hour and a half ago. They're just tweaking it now. There's nothing they can do though, because like the draw, even there's no way they could tweak it. You know, like the draw is like I don't think they could make the draw any different. Like how would they like? Every match is going to be epic. All right, so they're just on the doubles. They just did the doubles draw. So now they're going to do the singles. Doubles draw, for those who want to know, Palini Irani in the same group as Kudermetova, Mertens, Shea Ostapenko, and Muhammad and Scherz. So that's tough. And I can't see the other one because someone's head's in the way. But that's one group. And then everybody else who I didn't name is on the other side. They got the Navratilova and the Huber group. Interesting. But yeah, Palini, that's a tough. It feels like Palini's group is tough. Oh, that's another thing. Palini playing doubles. Not that she wouldn't focus on singles as well, but playing both is not easy. Especially when you lose a match in the singles and you have doubles to rely on. Especially because she's the number one doubles player too. So, like number one team. So that's also something interesting to think about. If she loses her first match in singles, then, will she start to focus more on the doubles? So maybe you want to play Palini because she's playing both. So if you're... I mean, a lot of players already want to play Palini because they've got a good record against her, but maybe having Palini in your group is what you want, right? Because she might not be... she might have a lot more she has a lot more on her plate than anybody else, so... And Keys didn't play for 2 months, true, but also Keys is scary as fuck, and I wouldn't want to play her, even if she has had 2 months off. All right, so Steffi Graf. Oh, it's the Graf and Serena groups. Let's go. Arena's on one side, and Swiatek's on the other. We knew that. All right, but who is going to play who? Who is going to play who? I like that. Steffi and Serena. Love that. All right. They're doing the singles now. Yep. There's no official ceremony though, but I'm just doing the best I can. That's all you can do, chat. Is the best you can do. By the way, don't forget to like the video as well if you haven't already. This is how Andreeva can still win. She needs somebody to get injured in the first match, and then she'll come in and replace them, and then win her 2 matches, and then make the semis. So she could still win. She just needs a lot of luck. She could win doubles, though. She could win the doubles. Alcaraz starts in 45 minutes. Yay! It really did fill in the time, didn't it? Everybody calm down. Yeah, everybody just calm down, all right? Stay fucking calm. It's happening. It's happening. We need to play music during this time, I reckon. I need to find some music. I need some tunes during this time. Just to fill in the time, just to chill. Just some like smooth jazz or something, you know? Some waiting music. Some elevator waiting music or something. That's what we need. All right, so it looks like Anisimova and Coco are in the house. Cool. Play Jeopardy theme song. We'll get in trouble. Shelton or Caboli? Hope Shelton. Hope Shelton, think Caboli. So Gauff and Anisimova are not going to play each other in the group stage. It's indoor, so no rain break delays. Nope, no rain delays this week, unless something crazy happened. 1, it rains, and 2, the roof's broken. Rain in Saudi. Yeah, rain in Saudi, but also the roof is opened somehow. Fokina looks like he's about to win. All right. Coco is going with Aryana Sabalenka, and apparently Anisimova is playing against Swiatek. Do we like that? That's all right. I don't think that really is that big of a deal. I'm more... Where the hell's Raducanu? That's what I want to know. Put Raducanu with Coco. Come on. Raducanu and Gauff. Let's have it. Come on. We need it. I need that match in my life. Come on. Come on. So Swiatek takes on Anisimova, which is a trilogy because they've already played twice this year. And then Gauff versus Sabalenka, which is always a banger, right? Again, there's no bad matches. There won't be any bad matches. On paper. On paper. All right, what else we got? All right. Wait, hang on, what? Oh, no! Raducanu's with Swiatek. And why does this keep happening? Are they allergic to each other? They're not allowed to play, apparently. Coco will never play Raducanu, ever. We'll have to just have an exhibition at the end of the year or something. They'll just have to play at the 6th Queen Slam one day. All right, so it's Anisimova, Swiatek, Raducanu, Pegula, and the other players that I didn't mention. Well, Gauff, Pegula, and Sabalenka. That's Sabalenka, Pegula. We love that, which means that we got to wait for the last match. How does this keep happening? They could play the semis, maybe. Gauff, Raducanu is cursed. What the hell? They'll never play. Unless they just don't want to play, or maybe they're pulling the strings. They're making this happen. They're like, we don't want to play. They're getting in the ear of the tournament director. There's something going on. Just kidding. It was just a joke. It was a joke. Kidding, haha. So we've got Swiatek, Anisimova, Raducanu. Tough draw. And then Sabalenka, Gauff, and Pegula. We're just waiting for Keys and Pellini, which I don't think matters. I mean, I think Swiatek would rather play Pellini at this point. I mean, Pellini versus Swiatek, at least that would be a favorable matchup compared to Keys. Again, you don't want to play Keys. Keys is a nightmare. With no idea what's going to happen with Keys, right? How good she's going to be and whatever. So I think Swiatek would rather play at least the devil she knows, right? You don't want to play Keys. Imagine that. Swiatek will play Keys, Raducanu, and Anisimova. Now, the good thing about that would be if they're all the similar player, but they're also dangerous too. They can all beat Swiatek, which is not ideal. Whereas at least with Pellini, she knows, okay, well, I'm going to be able, if I just play well enough, I can probably overpower her. But anyways, here we go. Okay. She doesn't get Pellon. I gotta be honest, Swiatek just sucks. Sabalenka, Gauff, Pegula, Pellini. That feels like Sabalenka. That's a good draw for Sabalenka, it feels like. That's actually Sabalenka might have won the draw. The Gauff match is tough because they always play tough ones, but Pegula and Pellini, that's a plus for Sabalenka. Swiatek's draw is kind of shit. Anisimova, Raducanu, Keys? Ugh. That's a nightmare. That kind of sucks. Raducanu's in form, even though Swiatek's been beating her lately. Keys, who knows what's going to happen with her. And then Anisimova showed what she could do last time they played. Sabalenka versus Gauff is probably the closest match for Sabalenka. What's her record with Pellini? So Pellini and Sabalenka, it's 5-2 Sabalenka. And she won the last match, which was on clay. Sabalenka's draw, if Gauff's not serving well, Sabalenka should go 3-0. And I know Pegula just beat Sabalenka, but remember, she beat her from 2-5 down, and Sabalenka kind of lost momentum and lost the match. But overall, over the last, Pegula's been struggling to get sets against Sabalenka, so that's a good one. Sabalenka definitely had a better draw. Swiatek group is Anisimova, Raducanu, Pellini confirmed? No, it's not. What are you reading? You're making things up. I'm literally seeing it, and it says Pellini, Pegula, Gauff, Sabalenka is on the Steffi group, and then Swiatek is on the other side with Keys and Anisimova. Sorry, Keys. Okay, good. Big difference between Keys and Pellini in this situation. Man, that's... Ooh. Sabalenka's draw is better than Swiatek's. He's better group. She better group. It doesn't. Other than that, though, who finishes second? Gauff, Pegula, Pellini. Gauff's not got an easy draw. Gauff's draw kind of stinks too because Pellini's beaten Gauff more times this year. She has a bad record, a losing record against Pegula, and she's 50-50 with Sabalenka pretty much. But they haven't played on a hard court for a while. So Gauff's draw is kind of tough too. It's kind of tricky as well for Coco. Sabalenka, I think Sabalenka wins 2 out of 3 minimum if she's playing well. The Gauff match could be a 50-50. But then Gauff's got to beat Sabalenka, Pegula, or Pellini, 2 of the 3. She just beat Pellini, but Pellini's beaten her more than not this year. Pegula, Pellini, Pegula wins that, but then last time they played, it was Pellini. There is an opportunity for second in that group. I think the second spot, Sabalenka should win the group, but the second place is up for grabs. And it probably comes down to if Gauff beats Sabalenka, then maybe Gauff can qualify. But if she doesn't beat Sabalenka, then she's going to have to beat Pegula and Pellini, who, not easy. It's not easy. And then Swiatek, don't even get me started. Swiatek has to beat Keys and I mean, she can beat Raducanu, but Raducanu plays so well. And Anisimova is the one that everybody's probably thinking will top the group, right? And then Anisimova's never played Raducanu, and she's never played Keys, so I have no idea what that's going to look like. So Anisimova might be the favorite to top the group based on that. But then, like I said, I wouldn't be sleeping on Keys. I mean, Keys, who knows what Keys are going to do? She might do nothing, but she might do everything. Raducanu has never played Anisimova, and she's level with Keys, and she's losing against Swiatek. But that's only been recently. She was up 4-2 against Swiatek until recently. Damn. Chat, I tell you, worth the wait. That draw was worth the wait. I mean, that was worth the wait. I didn't think I'd be as shocked as I thought I was going to be like, oh yeah, this draw's yeah, I can't wait till Saturday. But now it's like shit. Like there are some players have really tough draws. I think Sabalenka is going to sleep probably the easiest tonight. She's going to have the night. She'll be like, oh, Coco's tough, but I know I can beat Pellini. I know I can beat Pegula. I think Sabalenka probably won the draw. And I think Swiatek's the one who's going to be losing sleep because that's rough. I mean, she lost to Keys in Australia with having match points. She's lost to Anisimova recently. And Raducanu, even though she's beaten her recently, Raducanu is in form and is playing well and is scary. It's funny because they're all very similar types of players. Raducanu, Pellini, Raducanu, Keys, and Anisimova. So that might be good for Swiatek because then, she'll play one and she'll get her eye in. But also they can all overpower her. They are like the three strongest players in the tour. Like Sabalenka's strong as well, but those three, probably the most powerful players on the tour, right? Keys has the biggest forehand. Raducanu's probably got the biggest serve, and then Anisimova's got the biggest backhand. So, you're not getting away with having Swiatek's going to be doing so much running. She's going to be defending so much in this group. She doesn't, and that's why I was thinking, well, if she can play Pellini, then maybe she can get a rest where she can have a bit more rally and she can, she doesn't have to panic. Not to mention, Swiatek's serve is going to be picked on by everybody. She's going to be bullied on serve. Swiatek has to serve well. Because if she doesn't serve well, these ladies are just going to club her second serve back and she's going to... it's brutal for Swiatek. I think Swiatek got a brutal draw. Whereas Sabalenka's the one who gets to bully everybody because she's the one who's going to be attacking the serves, especially on Coco's serve. I think the Coco-Sabalenka match will be that's the match that will decide if Sabalenka or Gauff, if Gauff qualifies for the semis. But man, yeah, Swiatek, ouch. Yeah. I think Swiatek's got all the work to do. Jerome!
Swiatek has been weirdly struggling with pushes and been worse on slow surfaces, yet is beating bashers and winning on fast courts lately. So who knows?
Well, let's see, right? I think the positive for Swiatek is that she gets to play three similar players. So I don't know if she plays Keys first, if it's one the best player versus the worst player in the group, and then the winners play each other and the losers. I don't know exactly what the format is, but I think it would be Keys versus Swiatek, Anisimova, Raducanu, and then the winners play each other, the losers play each other, and then the last matches after that. I think that's how it works. She plays Keys? Okay, yeah. So that's probably not the worst start, right? You play someone who hasn't played for a while. Keys is probably a little rusty, hopefully, for Swiatek, and she's probably the hardest hitting out of the bunch. So you play her first, get your eye in, and then you play, Anisimova, Raducanu next. So maybe not the worst. I mean, I'm trying to be positive. Like Swiatek playing Keys first might be the best thing for her. Because she's probably going to win based on just playing, right? More. But she needs to play well. I mean, she needs to win that first match against Keys, because if she loses that match, then she's got to beat Anisimova or Raducanu to be alive. I mean, it's going to be tough. That group is going to be insane. The Sabalenka group feels a little bit more Sabalenka and see who finishes second, but the Swiatek group, it could be Raducanu and Anisimova qualifying. It could be Keys if she comes out and beats Swiatek first match, then Keys might qualify. That group is insane. The Sabalenka group seemed a little bit more, at least on paper. But the thing is that Paolini, Pegula, and Gauff can all surprise. They can all surprise Sabalenka. So it's not easy, but definitely easier. I could see Sabalenka getting through easier than Swiatek. But then Swiatek might get her eye in, and then maybe again, positive for Swiatek is that she's going to be able to take the game plan and copy and paste it for every match. She won't have to do too much adjustment, right? Whereas if she was playing someone like a Paolini and an Anisimova, she would have to play two totally different games, right? One would be, she would have to be aggressive. The other one, she would have to watch out for her second serve. But she's playing the same player, just different, just slightly, different levels of, I guess, different powers. I mean, one has a forehand, one has a serve, and one has a backhand. And they all have big, serves, and they all have, obviously, they all can serve massive. So at least she'll know, like, she can set, she can try and, like, play the same style against them all. So that's, but they could still all overpower her even if she plays well. Even if she plays the same game against them. But anyways, I didn't think I would be as blown away by this draw as I am. I thought I didn't expect to be this shocked. Gosh, Swiatek's draw stinks. I feel like I've said that so many times this year. Swiatek gets a worse draw. Remember when she was number 2 in the world? She was getting like the worst draw, and then she went down number 8 and she won Wimbledon. Anyways, yeah, Swiatek's draw is, at least on paper, that's rough. That's so rough. You probably couldn't have made it harder. I don't think. I mean, that was probably the worst. What was the worst case for Swiatek? Yeah, was that her worst case? Because I said that nobody really had a bad case. Yeah, Swiatek. I said that Swiatek would rather have played a Raducanu instead of Pegula. So only because of recent times. So yeah, maybe if she had had Pegula instead of Raducanu, it would have been the worst case for Swiatek. But Anisimova is a nightmare. Keys, if she's playing well, is a nightmare. But if Raducanu is playing well, which she is, she can beat Swiatek too. Swiatek has to serve well. She has to serve well. She can't miss the first serve, otherwise it's over. If her first serve percentage is low, it's going to be a terrible week. It's going to be a tough week. Not terrible. She might still win anyway, but it's going to be a tough week. Swiatek in the ball basher group, but she only needs to be second in the group to move on. She needs to win, 2 matches, right? Now she should beat Keys. And she should beat Raducanu. But Keys is the scariest player in the draw. By the way, if Keys withdraws, Andreeva comes in. So that's not going to help Swiatek either. Yeah, okay, Andreeva's not playing well. But Andreeva plays well against the best players. She might not have played well against qualifiers or whatever, but she plays well when she plays these players. So what, you want Andreeva to come in or Alexandrova? Jesus, both of them are nightmares. I'd rather play Keys. Just because even Andreeva's going to be up for the occasion. And also Andreeva's going to be underestimated, which is when she will do her best work. Like when she won Indian Wells. When we thought, maybe Sabalenka would win that. You don't want to replace Keys. That's why the WTA Finals are so crazy, because you replace Keys with Andreeva, that makes it just as hard. It doesn't make it any better. Makes it so much worse. The only way that Andreeva comes in, if she came in for Pegula or Paolini or Coco, no, maybe not even Coco, but if she came in for Paolini, then maybe that makes it tougher for Sabalenka. But you couldn't replace Keys or anybody to make it tougher for Swiatek. She's got it. It doesn't get any better. You can't make it easier for Swiatek unless you redo the draw or go back in time and Swiatek is number 1 in the world instead. There's no replacing Keys for Andreeva, and that's a good thing. Andreeva with nothing to lose. Exactly. That's what's there. Andreeva's form. Lost to random players. But when she plays top 10, she's with nothing to lose. Exactly. That's a nightmare. Anyways, thank you all for hanging out. 2.5 hours. Jesus Christ. This is longer than the match we're going to watch. We're going to watch, what is it? Alcaraz versus Norrie. That's coming up next in about an hour, half an hour. God, what a WTA Finals WTA Finals going to be so good. It sucks that Djokovic decided to play Greece because I was going to clear my schedule and say, you know what? Stuff the ATP. We're only watching WTA. But we're watching Djokovic play Greece because we have to. I made a promise to the Djokovic fans. We're not going to break that. But other than that, I don't care what happens next week on the men's side. It's just Djokovic and nothing else. And then we're going to watch, WTA is going to be crazy. If Swiatek wins this WTA Finals, it'll be the most impressive feat, I think. At least the most impressive, one of the most impressive wins of the year, tournament wins of the year. You can put it up there with Keys winning Australia. Maybe it's not as good as that, but it's up there because she's going to have to go through those three players I mentioned, Sabalenka potentially, and maybe even Gauff. Like that. Anisimova, Gauff, Sabalenka, Raducanu, and Keys. She's going to have to beat them to win the title. She can lose one of those matches, but that's about it. Can't be a semi, though. She might... You know what I mean? If Paolini wins it, that'll be the most impressive, right? Because she's the ultimate underdog in this field. But I think Swiatek's probably second. If Pegula won, you'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, But Swiatek gets through that group of death and then wins by beating Sabalenka and Gauff or Gauff. It'll be way more impressive than when she won it a couple of years ago in Cancun when it was windy and everybody couldn't hit the ball. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. I'm buzzing. I love it. I'm buzzing. I'm so glad this shocked me. I didn't expect to be shocked. It is the group of death. It's the ball-bashing group of death. Raducanu's in form. Keys is a wild card. I don't even know what the hell she's going to do. And then obviously Anisimova is probably the favorite. I mean, people are picking Anisimova to win, right? I'm leaning Sabalenka after that draw. I think Sabalenka might have an easier, she has a little bit, because the way it might work, she'll play Paolini, she might play Pegula, and then she'll play Gauff, and she'll have a slow rise, whereas Swiatek's going to play her best tennis from the day one. Anyways, 30 minutes. We're also Shelton Caboli. We'll keep an eye on that as well. But WTA Finals. It's going to be fire. It starts on Saturday.